Welcome to Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Today I want to chat with you for just a few minutes about purchasing seeds and preparing for next year's garden. I know that many of you are still working on finishing up your preservation of this year's summer garden. I know that's the case here. And so you might not really be kind of in the mindset or in the mood, even if you have seen a few too many items that you've been working on trying to preserve and you're like, I just want to be done with it. You might not really be in that place where you're thinking about next year's garden. But I want to encourage you to start thinking that direction, because now is the time that you could start finding some deals that could really save you some money thinking about doing your gardening next year. When we think about seeds and having what we need to plant for the following year, it's always a good idea to work on saving your own seed. And everybody's going to be in a different place when it comes to seed saving. It really depends on the type of seed that you've planted. It depends on how much space you have, whether or not you're going to be able to allow certain plants to come to maturity where you're going to be able to harvest seed off of them. It depends on the variety and the type. There's just a lot of variables when you think about seed saving. So you might be in a place where you're going ahead and saving seed, or you might be in a place where you still need to rely on purchasing all of your seed. Even if you are saving your own seed, I would still recommend having some backups, particularly if this is your first year or two doing seed saving. You might want to have some purchased seed on hand just to make sure that you have that backup in case something went wrong. There are some crops that are really easy to save seed from, and then there are other crops that require just a little bit more finesse to go ahead and save seed from them. So if you're kind of new to the seed saving arena, you might want to make sure that you have some purchased seed as backup. Even if you're more experienced at seed saving, you still might like to have a little bit of purchased seed on hand as a backup, just because of the fact that you never know if something might go wrong. And worst case scenario, you're going to have some seed to share with a friend. So I don't think that it really will go to waste if you have a little bit of extra seed on hand. The reason we're talking about this right now is that the fall is actually a good time to get some good deals on seeds. Just be checking around right now, but a lot of places are wanting to get rid of last year's seed, and so they're putting it on like a closeout, or they're going ahead and putting it on sale. I've been watching a couple of places that sell the type of seed that I have used in the past, and I've just been watching their Facebook feed, checking in on the store, watching flyers to see when they might put their seed on sale. And that has happened this week. One of the local stores that I've been watching went ahead and discounted all of their seed for half off. And this is a great time to stock up on a few things. They don't have the variety that they would typically have in the spring, but there are some things that I would still plant and that I still wanted to purchase, and this is a great time to do that because it's half off. When we see the price of seed going up, we also see the price of food going up. This is really a great investment to set you up for next year's garden. Now, there are a couple of things that I look at when I think about what kind of seed I might be able to purchase in the fall for next year. One of the things that you want to look at is your seed life. So if I check the back of my packet, I'm able to see down here in the seed specs, it's telling me that for these lemon cucumbers, your usual seed life is 3 years. Now, that's just kind of the average. It could be that the germination isn't as high as we would like it to be before that 3 years is up, or it could be, depending on the seed, that it actually lasts longer than the 3 years and the germination is just fine, or sometimes you'll see a little decrease in germination, but the seed is still good past that 3-year shelf life. If I'm looking at seed that's packed for 2022 and it has a seed life of 3 years, I don't feel bad at all about purchasing it now in the fall for next year's garden, because with a 3-year seed life, it's well in the range of freshness, I guess you could say, for the following year. So I'm not worried about that at all. So when I'm looking for the seed that I want to go ahead and pick up right now, I'm looking at that seed life. That's a big part of what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for varieties that I know and want to plant, or if I'm looking for something a little bit different, I might also be looking at the number of days that it takes to come to maturity. Sometimes when I'm buying things in the fall, I might do an experiment or two, but I would say that I'm finally coming to that realization. I say this, but watch me next year do another experiment. I'm coming to that point where I want to plant things that I know are going to do well, and I'm trying to curb back the experimentation. I'm also trying to curb back my desire to have multiple varieties of things. For example, we have quite a few varieties of tomatoes that we grew this year. Some of those varieties I had chosen for the smaller space. I had chosen those varieties because they were more compact and they fit really well in the backyard garden when I lived in town. And so that was kind of my thinking behind some of those varieties. But now that I have the space, I'm trying to think a little more critically about the actual usefulness and the functionality of different varieties. For example, one of the tomato varieties produces really well, and they're beautiful Roma tomatoes, and they're great for fresh salsa and for that fresh eating. But when I think about trying to preserve them, the skins do not want to come off easily. So it takes longer to try to process them because the skins just do not want to release easily. And at this particular point in time, when I'm trying to process quite a few tomatoes, I don't want to be bogged down with that variety that's just not going to peel easily. I have a few seeds left of that variety, and I'll go ahead and finish using them, but I don't think I'm going to save any more seed from that variety, and I'm not going to plan to plant a bunch of that in the future just because it doesn't fit well with my purpose for using those tomatoes. If you're new to gardening, you might not know what you like yet. Different types of beans taste different. You might decide that you like one type of bean over another type of bean. Different tomatoes, like I said, take up different space. You're going to find the same thing with your cabbages, your broccoli, things like that. So you might not know yet what it is that you love and which varieties you want to plant, and that's fine. Take this time to continue doing a little bit of experimenting. But if you've been gardening for a while, you might want to just focus in on a few certain varieties. And that's one of the dangers you can run into with finding the fall sale, because since there is definitely a limited variety, it can be really tempting to pick up some new things that you haven't tried before just because it's on sale, even though you don't know if you would like it. I hope that makes sense. Don't buy it just because it's on sale if you know exactly what it is that you want. But there might be some things that you do want. So like my case, I found some lemon cucumbers. They have a 3-year seed life, so I don't feel bad about going ahead and picking that up. We've got some delicata squash. Now we are saving some of our own seed from the delicata squash that has been grown this year. I just picked up this packet because for $2, I don't mind having a little backup on hand. And like I said, the worst case scenario, I can give this away to a friend and bless them with some seed next year if I end up having extra. So for $2, I don't mind keeping that on hand. I definitely picked up some carrots. Carrots have been a struggle, and they're sometimes okay, and then sometimes not. These also have a 3-year seed life on them. So again, they'll be perfectly fine for next year. One of the items that I did pick up that's a little bit more of a gamble would be the onion. So onions, I think spinach is like 1 or 2 years as far as the seed life goes. They just don't have as long of a seed life as some of your other items. But I did go ahead and pick up a couple of packets. It's possible, like I said before, the germination rate might just be down a little bit, or it might be perfectly fine. So I bought a couple of packets knowing that that was going to be a risk, but at half off, it's a risk that I'm willing to take. So I just picked up a few other items that I think we'll use a lot of. I got some cauliflower. The purple of Sicily is one of our favorites. We've had a lot of difficulty with just the traditional cauliflower, but the purple of Sicily has grown really well here. And so I picked that up. It has, again, that 3-year seed life. Most of the items that I found had the 3-year seed life. Be on the lookout for sales. I did see even the seed company was advertising that you could buy 2022 seeds up through October. I think in November they were going to roll out their 2023 seed. And so some of these places also were having a discount even online from some of the seed companies. They're putting things on sale just because they want to go ahead and clear out that old seed and prepare for the new seed coming in. If you're wanting that fresh batch, be on the lookout in November, December. I know it's not traditionally the time that we start thinking about purchasing our seeds for the following year, but with the shortage of crops that we've been seeing and hearing about, and just some of the weird weather that has come and has impacted different crops, I would definitely recommend jumping on ordering your seeds right away so that you make sure you have what it is that you want and need for next year's garden. I hope today's video was helpful. Check out those deals and save a few dollars while you prepare for next year's garden. If today's video was helpful, don't forget to like. We'd love to have you subscribe and be part of our community here at Blooming Wildwood Homestead, where every week we make videos on gardening, food preservation, or other homestead related topics. Until next time, bye everyone.